Good morning. I'm Pat McCrory, Governor of North Carolina, and I cannot stress how serious of issue this storm, this hurricane, could cause to North Carolina. Not only damaging structures, but taking human life. And I'm extremely concerned, since this hurricane has been downgraded, that people will let up their guard. And as these types of hurricanes that settle over our state that have caused the most damage and loss of life and destruction. And this is especially true for eastern North Carolina based upon our history. We wanted this hurricane to go out where it would have been more powerful out over the ocean. But as soon as this hurricane turned inward, which is what we didn't want, yes, it did downgrade into wind, but it upgraded into the volume of water. And water can kill, along with continued high winds. And I cannot emphasize that more. And I realize all the reporters are standing on the beaches, and they can still stand on the beaches, and we still have serious concerns on the beaches. But most of our concerns right now are inland, where we're going to have surges on the major rivers coming into North Carolina, which could cause some serious damage. And it's just a sad commentary sometimes. If damage is not caused up the coast on beaches, then the national and local media may go away. We cannot forget the inland people, especially in lower populated areas that could be very seriously harmed by this hurricane that is called Matthew. And I just want to let you know, we are prepared. We are ready for it. We are ready for this turn of events. We didn't want this turn of events to occur, but we are ready for it. And the other point I want to make is this is most likely going to be a prolonged event. This is not just going to be an event that ends tomorrow once the hurricane moves up into other areas of the country or out back into the ocean. This is going to have a prolonged event in areas 20 and 30 and 50 miles to 100 miles inland in North Carolina, where we don't have high populated areas, but we have people whose survival is going to be dependent upon them knowing exactly what's going to happen and due to our first responders. And those are the people I care about right now. So let me just say that Hurricane Matthew is currently a Storm 2. In some areas it may be down to a 1, but is currently up the coast, and the center is within 25 miles off of Cape Fear. The center of the storm is expected off the North Carolina coast around 2 a.m. Sunday morning. That's tonight. And we are already feeling the effects of the outer band, including right here in Raleigh, in our state capital at the Operations Center. So we have 5 to 15 inches of rain are expected east of 95, and that is going to be in a highly saturated area. We have 10 to 15 inches of rain expected, 10 to 15 inches of rain. That's a lot in the southeastern North Carolina. And if you are in a low-lying area, and you know you're in a low-lying area that's flooded with a lot less rain than that, it's time to get out of there and find someplace else to stay in higher areas of land or in shelters, because it will flood with that much rain. I cannot emphasize that more. And you listen to your local officials now more than ever, because the local officials know which areas flood. Every area of our coast is completely different. Each beach is different, the topography is different. And so please take advice from each of your local officials who will be giving you guidance up and down the coast and also inland during the next 72 or more hours. We have 4 to 7 inches of rain is expected in central North Carolina. This is in areas also that have been inundated with rain. We're especially concerned with the Fayetteville area right now, where we have a lot of inundation, as we were yesterday. This has the potential for North Carolina to see the worst flooding since Hurricane Floyd. We just don't know yet, because there still could be some changes in this storm pattern, as we have seen during the past 72 hours. The storm surge in North Carolina will begin by early afternoon. That's today, right now. And we're already seeing damage on coastal homes. This surge right now can cause damage to structures. And if it can cause damage to structures, it could cause damage to human life. And it's something not to play around with. The beaches are going to be eroded in many areas depending upon the direction of the beach and the topography of the beach, and each one will be different. But we're already starting to see houses being impacted, and the heart of the storm is yet to hit us, and that's on the beach areas. The real concern for us at this point in time are several rivers, and that is the cresting of these rivers. The Kashai River near Windsor, and Windsor is just removing the debris right now, and they've completed most of the debris removal, but that river has the potential to flood again and peak of more than 11 feet at this point in time. This is especially concerning since the close to 17 inches of rain and severe flooding that occurred just 2 weeks ago. They had 17 inches of rain 2 weeks ago. There were no cameras there, by the way, but they're hurting as a region right now. And when we get another potential over foot of rain in that area possibly, we've got some serious issues with flooding. Of major concern is also the Cape Fear River near Burgo. And the crest is expected Monday near 20 feet. So citizens there must be aware of post-storm flooding, and the worst could come Monday and Tuesday could be our most difficult days, even throughout the rest of the week at Cape Fear. Local officials are calling for evacuations in Pender County, Cumberland County, Brunswick County, Robinson County, Beaufort County, Hyde County, and New Hanover County. Citizens can call 211 to get information on evacuations and shelters in your areas. As of 8:30 this morning, we have about 453 people that are in shelters, and shelters are open in many of your counties, and you can check. By the way, the First Lady and I want to strongly encourage you to also take care of your pets and make sure your pets are safe, and many shelters are open that are pet-friendly. We also are concerned about the agricultural community. We want to make sure every animal has durable and visible identification at this point in time. And everyone knows where to put the animals, but there is, if we look at Hurricane Floyd, we had major issues with animals in the agricultural industry. Ensure that the poultry has access to high areas in which to perch if they're in flood-prone area, as well as to food and clean water we want to make sure people have access to. All ferry operations have been suspended except Currituck to Knott's Island. The final ferry from Ocracoke Island to Cape Hatteras has already departed. The ferry division evacuated nearly 1,400 people from Ocracoke Island. The resources allocated right now in North Carolina National Guard, we have approximately 180 troops and 68 high water vehicles. The swiftwater rescue teams are still in Elizabethtown, New Bern, Williamston, Brunswick, Pamlico, Camden, and in regional coordination centers in central and eastern North Carolina. We have hazard response teams, which are extremely important at this point in time because there could be some environmental issues also that we have. We've seen them in past floods. So we have hazard response teams in Sanford, New Bern, Williamston, Goldsboro, Elizabethtown, and Hertford County. We also have 3 helicopter rescue teams that are staged at this point in time. We have chainsaw crews in Jones, Camden, Pasquotank, and Moore counties, and at regional coordination centers. The North Carolina Wildlife Boat teams have been deployed to Williamston, New Bern, and Elizabethtown also. We have generators, sandbags, cots, bottled waters, and tarps to eastern counties, and generators to central counties. By the way, it's good news. Florida no longer needs assistance of our mobile disaster hospital or our medical evacuation buses. Our mobile evacuation hospital is currently in Davidson County area, Mocksville area, and that's ready to go if we need it at this point in time. Florida has also not requested any more our medical evacuation buses, so that's very good news, and I'm very pleased Florida does not need those. We do still have some resources in South Carolina assisting them because they're going to be facing some of the same issues. I've talked to Nikki Haley. We're going to help each other as much as possible. We are our biggest concerns in our discussions during the last 16 hours were concerned about nursing homes, home care facilities that might need evacuations. Again, this is primarily inland near rivers. We have issues possibly with some of our state prisons. We have issues in monitoring the environmental impact of high water and flooding, especially as it relates to wastewater, some of the utilities, and also the farms. We are making very serious precautions regarding the flooding of our roads. As we see in South Carolina right now, parts of I-95 are closed. We could have that possibility in North Carolina. Utility workers, I want to thank the co-ops. I want to thank Duke Energy. The co-ops and Duke Energy are all on call, ready to help restore power. And we expect some serious power outages if, with trees falling with this high saturation. And I cannot stress more, and I said this the other day, when I was a young man in my early 20s, I climbed poles and was not good at it. These men and women are going to be doing it in very, very treacherous conditions with high winds and a lot of water. And just be patient with them because they're risking their life also. I know how hard it is. Be patient with them and bunker down if you don't have power, and get your water now and your resources down, your flashlights now. If you haven't already done that, you should have already done that. But be ready for prolonged power outages at this point in time, although I know the co-ops and Duke and other utilities basically involved are going to be working hard. They have a lot of people right here in the Raleigh area ready to deploy to any area which may be impacted because they're facing the same issue we are. This storm could turn just a few degrees and change the dynamics during the next 24 hours. The livestock issues we are looking at also, it's very, very serious, and also the dams. We are checking as many dams as possible to make sure they are strong, and if we see any limitations of any dams, we'll be sure to notify the people along the rivers. We have a lot of rivers here in the North Carolina that are going to be impacted by the surge, and again, that impact might not be felt for several days, and that's when the real damage occurs. So this is going from a short-term storm in the southeast, hurricane in the southeast, to a major storm primarily in eastern North Carolina, Greenville, all the way across to Fayetteville. And by the way, you're going to still see some rain also western North Carolina, but we don't anticipate any serious issues there. I think the Panthers will still be able to play on Sunday. So, or Monday night, right, Monday night game and Panthers ought to be okay. So with that, anything I missed, Michael?
Just listen to your local official. Just stress that again,
Okay.
sir.
Cannot stress the great team that we have. We have over 100 people that are working 24 hours here watching this storm track. And I just want to also let the media know it's not just about the beaches, it's inland where we can have loss of life. And we need you to help communicate also. So just because the beach areas, even though in North Carolina we still have some serious issues on the beach right now, we also have very serious issues inland that are of most concern. I'd like to thank again the media, the national media, Weather Channel and so forth for helping us out. Just don't forget us. With that, I'll be glad to take any questions you might have. Any questions? Thank you all very much. Appreciate your cooperation.